Every avoidant protects themselves with 3 walls, and each wall comes with its own secret to smashing it. So the first wall is something I like to call the smoke screen. Stop me if this sounds familiar. Your avoidant says, I don't want a relationship, I'm not interested in commitment, I'm not looking for anything serious, I'm only interested in being friends. These phrases are all deactivation strategies that are designed to ensure that a commitment never happens. In other words, they're a smokescreen. Now, psychologically, what's happening here is a concept called defensive pessimism. It's when someone lowers expectations on purpose to protect themselves from disappointment. Avoidants use it as a shield. So a lot of times their internal narrative will go something along the lines of, if I say it'll never work, then it won't hurt when it actually doesn't work. But here's the catch. Most of the time, they're not even sure if they mean what they're saying. They just know saying it keeps them safe and keeps you out. Now, there's only really one way to overcome this smokescreen. You have to convince them that you aren't interested in any kind of romantic relationship with them. Once you do that, then the smoke clears and you'd think things would get better, but no. That's when you run into the second wall, the Frankenstein wall. Now on my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about this concept I pioneered called the Frankenstein X. Now, you've probably heard of the Phantom X before. That's when an avoidant idealizes one past partner to sabotage their current connection. But the Frankenstein X, way more dangerous. Because they're not obsessing over just one person. They're stitching together the very best traits of all their exes, fused into this imaginary partner who never criticized them, never got too close, and never made them feel trapped. They don't even realize they're doing it. But deep down, this Frankenstein X becomes the impossible standard that no real human can live up to. And it becomes this perfect excuse to never fully commit. And there's only really one way to overcome this wall. You have to trigger some sort of cognitive dissonance inside the avoidant. Here's how. Start mirroring the same emotional unavailability that they show you. So when they say, I'm not ready for a relationship, you say, totally fine, I'm not here to convince you. When they try to keep things casual, you stop sharing the most intimate parts of yourself. You don't flirt harder, you flirt less, you get quiet, you get curious, you stop being predictable. Now, it seems so simple, right? But the thing is, they aren't used to this because everyone in their life doesn't have that level of discipline. And that's what cracks the Frankenstein wall. Of course, you have to break through one more wall. I call it the Groundhog Day wall. This is the wall that resets everything back to the beginning. Just when you think you're getting close, boom, they pull away. They go cold. They basically act like none of the progress ever happened. And this cycle, this is where most people finally give up, because in order to get back to that Groundhog Day wall, you'll have to clear all the other walls again. So how do you smash the Groundhog Day wall? Well, most people misunderstand what the true purpose of this wall really is. It's to keep you trapped inside the maze, in that cycle of smashing their walls down. Because really, every time you smash through the walls and get to the Groundhog Day wall, you're showing the avoidant how much you care about them, and they love that. But they don't commit to that. The only way to smash the Groundhog Day wall is to refuse to play their game. That's the only thing that makes avoidants take notice, because instead of resetting the connection, they're forced to face the full loss of it.